No doubt. Hey, staying in the Big Ten, Chip Kelly was a name that you threw out there and you nailed it. It might not have been the way we thought it would have went down, but you said Chip Kelly is on the hot seat. Look for a move. Kind of a mediocrity era at UCLA. Had a lot of talent, had a lot of guys drafted. I think more than any other team in the pack. Obviously, the pack don't exist anymore, but you were onto this early. And then Chip Kelly up and decides he wants to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, a room that is killing it in the transfer portal, a team that is absolutely stacked. And now they pick up Chip Kelly, one of the premier offensive minds, as their OC. My goodness, Howie, you were on this one early.
So let's take a trip back in time to Chip Kelly's reign at Oregon when they were very good,
Yeah.
right? Very good every week, like putting like 70 points on the board every week, running teams out of the building, right? Kind of like what was capable of this year. Like their offense was just exploding. Uh, Chip Kelly then gets the opportunity at Philadelphia for the Eagles, right? Makes that transition like a year or two in
Oh,
Philadelphia,
yeah.
and they're like, get
Didn't
this
work.
guy out of here,
Yep.
right? So then he kind of disappears, and then like all of a sudden UCLA is like this. He's like, oh, where's Chip Kelly? Oh, he's at UCLA, right? And now with the shift of the landscape of college football with the NIL stuff, and I actually caught a little bit of Chip Kelly's interview on Pat McAfee here yesterday, I believe, and he talked about now really college football coaches aren't college football coaches, they're CEOs of the team.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really interesting way to think about it because you're handling a lot of business now
Mm-hmm.
because these players are coming in as and almost negotiating, right? Like it's not so much, you're going where the money is. You're going where
Right.
the opportunity is. You're not going to a place to like prove yourself anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that stress was getting to him because again, when he was on Pat McAfee's show yesterday, uh, he looked relaxed. He was smiling. He was like, he was having fun with it.
Yeah.
He was like, I haven't been in a meeting room since like 2009 or 2000 whatever. He's like, I haven't been in a meeting room, led a meeting, like coordinator meeting or whatever, or a position group meeting since like 2009. He goes,
Wow.
you know how it is as a head coach. You pop your head in the linebacker meeting for a second or whatever, and then you go to the next meeting room. He's like, I love building relationships with the players. I love building relationships like inside the room. I love building those relationships, and you don't get to do that as much when you're the head coach because you got to get to everybody.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm excited to get going. I love the group that we have in here right now, and he seemed very excited about just being that quarterbacks coach and OC at Ohio State. And I think he even made a joke. He's like, well, Ryan calls the bad plays and I'll call the good plays. So if you don't, and that's for real, right? Like everybody, the fans were getting loud at the end of
Yeah.
this year, right? For Ohio State. You can't beat Michigan,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
get in the playoff. Like that's a problem when you're at Ohio State. And it was getting real loud for Ryan Day. And I think this is another great hire by a coach whose seat was getting pretty hot
Yes.
just with the noise to hire an experienced coordinator on the offensive side of the ball, which they had problems scoring points with one of the best receivers to ever play the game, and
Right.
they're having problems scoring points. Um, I think it's again a great move for a head coach that just needed a little bit of support.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Chip Kelly is one of the best offensive minds. And I think having him relax is good for Ohio State. And I look for them to again with the talent they got too from some of the Alabama transfers and stuff like that. Huge,
Yeah.
huge.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great point, Howie. And I think it's a picture of a bigger trend that's happening right now. Hate to say things negatively, but it's a problem right now with college sports, especially college football. These coaches are being asked to do way more than coach. And the reason a lot of these guys, Chip Kelly, like you said, man, back in the day, coached at Oregon for a long time, had a dynasty there. I mean, Marcus Mariota, guys, going to the national championship multiple times, playing in big time New Year's Six bowls. I mean, just churning out NFL guys year after year, running the pack. I mean, they dominated the pack for a long time. Great coach. And now the landscape of college football has changed so much. These coaches are tired of it. I mean, I don't know if you read any of that Saban article, but that kind of seems to be what drove him out of there. He was old anyway, right? He might have had a few years left, but he was like, I was getting to the end of the season, and 80% of my roster was asking me, how much playing time can you guarantee me? And how much money are you going to pay me? And it's like, dude, that's a business. That's like you said, like a CEO. Like that's not coaching football. And these guys that fell in love with the X's and O's and the relationships with players and the reason they got into coaching, it's changed so much now. So I'm really happy for Chip Kelly. I heard his wife was really happy about the move too. And it's awesome to hear that the stress and the load has been taken off and he can just get back to the X's and O's and the relationships with position groups and a smaller group of guys. So that's awesome. And what a huge get for Ohio State. Honestly, like that was huge, dude. Huge. At first, I thought they made a huge mistake with their OC hire. And then man, he slipped away to Boston College and good for him. But my goodness, to get Chip Kelly, I think is a major upgrade.
Oh, such an upgrade, and they're gonna have weapons all over the place, and it's gonna make an immediate impact. And I think you're gonna see it even in spring ball and in their spring game. I think you'll be able to just see how different it looks. X's and O's might not look as different, but the execution part is going to look so much different.
Oh yeah.
And uh, it sucks to say as like an IU fan, right? Like as an IU fan,
Mm-hmm.
like okay, Ohio State looked like they were going down a little bit,
Oh
or at least
man.
plateauing, and now it looks like the ceiling just raised another 34s.
Oh yeah. You do you have them as your early favorites for next year to win it all? Like not just the Big Ten, but Natty.
Yeah, I think if they don't win the national championship this year, I think it would be very disappointing.
Yeah.
Uh, just the way it feels right now.
I think my early pick right now is an Ohio State Georgia national championship game.
Sure. Yeah,
Maybe Texas in there. Maybe Texas could upset one of those two teams in a semifinal, depending on how it shakes out. But I think those two teams are just so far ahead of everybody else. And the weapons Ohio State's picked up are just insane. Like it's got to be natty or bust for them.
for sure. Both sides of the ball too, not just offense. I mean, both sides of the
Yeah.
ball loaded
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Caleb Downs, that's gonna hurt to watch him play for Ohio State next year. He's such a beast, dude. He is such a beast. But huge upgrade for them.